Well, hello everyone. My name is Rick Pasick, the Fly Fish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Right off the bat, I'm going to let you guys know I've come down with COVID, so my voice is a little screwed up, and I may cough a few times, but I want to get some videos done. So, yeah, I'm not even going to talk too much right now. Let's just get her going. Hopefully, I can make it through the video without coughing my brains out and annoying you guys too much. Alrighty, so here we go. Today we're going to be tying a little nymph pattern, mayfly pattern. It's going to be a little on the larger side just for the video sakes, but I do like tying these in a 10, 12, 14. This is a size 8. Size 8 BL254N from Hens, barbless. Now with this pattern you can weight it down if you like or don't. It depends on your region, if you're allowed external weight, if you're allowed more than one fly, then you may want to use this as your mid fly. It all depends. This one I'm going to tie without a weight. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some Semperfli Nano Silk in white 12-aught. Material risk for this is fairly short, actually. It's a really deadly little fly. Depending on the color of the mayfly nymphs you have in your system, I just changed the color of the dubbing up, but other than that, it's pretty standard. So for the tail, excuse me, tail and the thorax cover, I'll be using some pheasant tail. For the rib, I'm going to be using some flat oval tinsel. This happens to be Danville's. I ran out of the Semperfli. Not a big fan of the Danville's one. It's not that I'm not a big fan of the Danville's one. I find if you have them for too long, the Danville's, it starts getting crusty and stuff. So it's not quite the quality. I haven't found that yet with the Semperfli, but I've also haven't had the Semperfli for years as well. So. And then, so that's the tail, the shellback, the rib, and then for the body dubbing, for this one I'm going to be using this Hens. It's a light green. Let's see if I can get under the number 20. It's got a little bit of that UV in it. It's a really cool little color, and like I said, I've done very, very well with it on some systems. Other systems I've done well, but not great. So let's get her going. So start your thread, come back to about where the barb would be. Don't go around the bend, because otherwise your tail will go down, and you don't want that in this pattern. Actually, you don't want that in a lot of patterns. So now what I like doing here is I like just right there where my tail is going to end, I like building up a bulb, just a little bit of a bulge. And all that'll do is it'll help hold that tail up. It's just, you won't even see it. So now I'm going to take 3 or 4 pheasant tail fibers. Don't want a ton of them here. It's funny how this COVID affects people differently. It's been kicking my butt pretty hard over this. I got it on Friday. This is now Monday, and yeah, it's been reaping havoc on me. So I want about the length of the body, which is going to end about here, sticking past, and that's about right there. So I'm just going to come back, get that tail tied in right to that bulge that I created. And you see how that kind of lifts it a little bit? Right. So now I'm just going to take my fibers and just cut them off on a taper. Now you can keep those fibers if you wanted for the shellback, but I'm going to use a few more for the shellback, so I am not going to keep those. Just come back again, just make sure you're right back to that bulge that you created, which I am. So there we go. Then I'm going to come back up to about there, tie in my gold tinsel. And oval tinsel here. All the way back to where I stopped with tying in that tail. I'm trying my different jaws out here. These are the inline jaws. This is the Stonefold Transformer, so you can get the straight inline jaws, you can get the drop jaws, and the there's a tube vise jaw. It comes all with them, and it's a quick little disconnect. Great little vise for that. But yeah, so there's that. Now I'm going to take my wax. Just give my thread a bit of a wax. And take this Hen's UV blend dubbing, this light green. And just dub a loose-ish body. I do want the oval tinsel to be able to segment this, so I'm just going to get it started, and then I'll just, like I said, I don't want it tight, but I don't want it falling off either, right? So that's about good. Excuse me. So now take my tinsel and I'm going to counter wrap it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just come in front there, tie that off. 3 on top, 3 in front, 1 in front, 2. Nip that off. Okay, so now you can, if you'd like, just take your dubbing brush, whatever kind you use. I just like using a little bit of Velcro on a popsicle stick, especially for these ones where I gotta get into the gap, and just rough it ever so little. Don't want to go too much. You just want it buggy. That's all. Okay. So now I'm going to come back to. Oh, I just moved my tinsel. Oh, I didn't have that tied in proper. I will tie it in proper now. There we go. It did slide on me a bit. So, there. Now I'm going to take another. See, again, we all make mistakes, even somebody that's been tying for a while. So I'm going to take another chunk of the pheasant tail, and this time I want a bit more. I want like 8 or 10 of these fibers. And I'm just going to get them to pull out fairly straight off of the. Doesn't really matter. Now with this one, you can, if you want, it's totally up to you how you want to do this, but you can tie this in so you end up with some little legs out the sides or not. I tie them both ways. This time I'll tie it with the legs, and then I'll show you later on the one without the legs. So I'm going to come right to the front to the eyes, roughly going to put past the eye how much of the legs I want to be showing. So about like that, maybe a bit more. Okay, just leave them like that, and now tie this back all the way back to where you want your thorax to start. Like I said, I could have had a better tie down of that oval tinsel. I don't know what happened there, but I'll go to about there. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of wax on the thread again. Now, again, another choice you can make, and again, I tie them in both ways. You can continue on with this light green, or you can go with a darker green or a black just to separate it. This time, I'm going to go with that same green. And go back through it again. I want this section being a bit thicker, right? want this thorax a little thicker than the rest of the body. So I'm going to just go through it a second time with dubbing. Okay, and now as I pull this forward, I want to try to pull these legs. I'm going to separate them. Just put my thumb in there, or my finger, and just kind of separate it. It's going to look like crap at first, but that's okay. And just try to get those off to either side. Sorry about my fingers. Pinching wrap. Just catch that in. And then just make sure those legs are on either side. I did trap. I'm going to go back. I trapped too many on the one side. Sometimes this can be a little bit of a pain, especially when you got COVID and you can't see worth a crap and everything else that's going on right now. So I'm going to just split these. I'm using my magnifying glass to split that a little bit better. Like I said, it's weird what this damn COVID does. Some people doesn't affect at all. Other people it does all kinds of weird stuff. I've had some brain fog and sinus issues and all kinds of stuff. There, that's better. Okay, pull that back. Now I'm going to do a whip finish. Where's my tool? There, right there. Actually, I'm just going to cut this a bit shorter so it's not in the way for the whip finish. But I'm not going to cut it all the way just in case for some reason I lose it. At least I got somewhere to grip. Nice and tight. So now I'll cut that off now that I know that that's been secured. I'll get in there and cut that off. That's good. So now what I like doing is putting just because I don't want to get in there with the head cement brush. I mean, I could cut this brush a little finer, but I just like doing a little bit right on the right onto the thread. Just one more quick little whip finish. 1, 2, 3 turns. Pull that in. That is now locked. And there's your finished fly. It's like I said, it's just a little mayfly pattern. It works really well. Now, the last thing I will do is I take my dubbing brush and just the thorax section. I'll just pull that out there. Just be careful that you don't wreck your legs too much. There. So now sometimes what I'll also do is I will put a dab of UV resin just on that shell back. But so there's, just so you guys can see, there's that version there with the little legs, right? And then here's a version, a little thicker thorax and without the legs, right? And it's hard to see. I gotta figure out a way to, when I turn my vise, that you guys it's not going out of focus for you guys because it keeps doing that. Now I know if I go down a bit further it won't, but so yeah. So in this one I put UV resin onto the shell back, right? But and I've really pulled out that thorax dubbing. But it just all depends on what you like to do. I like having multiple versions in multiple colors in my box, right? So, but see if I can just focus in on that so you guys can see. There you go. So the legs are out to the sides there, and yeah, and sometimes, like I said, putting a dab or two of UV, just a tiny dab of UV resin on there, just because that is the weak spot on this fly. That's what when the fish's mouth, if they get onto that part, it will tear that, right? So, okay, but that's it. Like I said, it's a fairly simple a little mayfly pattern that you can really change up colors. I mean, you can use all kinds of different colors, right? What I actually see if I got it handy. Hair dubbing. This one here is really like this hard dubbing and the hair dubbing. Oops, hair dubbing from hens for these. Semperfli makes a few as well. I wouldn't recommend using Kapok on this because you want this to sink. And again, if you want to add some in the thorax section there to help build up that bulk to make it a little bit like more like this, bulky on the thorax section, add a couple of layers of sticky back flat lead or whatever you've got under there. Put a bead on this as well. You could do that as well. And it's all up to you. But like I said, just use all these different colors and make. I do multiples. I like the light greens, the olive greens, the darker greens, the browns. There's so many mayflies when you push rocks around and stuff in a lot of river systems. These mayflies are more on the brownish, grayish brownish side than they are on the green. So, but there is the odd river system, and I know a few here in Western Canada that they really key in on these. It's not chartreuse, but it's this brighter greeny kind of color. So, yeah. Okay, hope I didn't yap too much there, and hope I yap properly, because the odd time I haven't been thinking too straight through this COVID, so hopefully everything came out good. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And thanks everybody that has subscribed. We finally made it to 2,000. Yay! I'm happy. We made that on, I guess it was Saturday, the 6th, I think, of January. It'll probably take me a few weeks to get the draw together. I got to obviously try to put all 2,000 people into the draw. I got some at least three big prizes, maybe even four. We'll see how it goes to give away. And yeah, it'll take me a while because, well, if I can get over this COVID and all that crap, technically we're going away to Mexico next week. So it'll take me a few weeks to get everything put together. But hopefully in early to mid-February, I'll have get these draws going. So thanks again, everybody, for making this channel successful. Share with your friends, and let me know what you guys want to see. What kind of flies do you want me to tie? I've got lots of ideas still. Obviously, I've got lots of flies that I use still that I will tie. I'll be experimenting a bit this year as well. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys want me to tie? All right, tie lines, everyone.